Listen, there's a simple law hiding in plain sight. Your life is not made by thunderbolts or miracles. It is made by the tiny repetitions you tolerate until they become you. Thoughts are patterns. Patterns become habits. Habits become destiny. That is the spine of everything worth changing. If you want different results, you will not beg the world. You will rearrange the small, steady motions inside your head and hands until the world has no choice but to follow. We begin here because clear beginnings keep us honest. Thought is not a ghost that visits. Thought is a machine you feed. It is a loop that either sharpens you or dulls you. Say the same true sentence to yourself 10 times a day and it will settle into muscle. Think the same fearful sentence 10 times a day and your body will learn to freeze. Thought writes a program. Programs run you. So first, understand the anatomy of repetition. There are 3 simple parts: trigger, response, reward. A cue appears. A reaction follows. A small reinforcement seals it. The brain does not judge, it optimizes. It sees a cue and says, "There's a shortcut that saves energy." It copies the shortcut and keeps it. That is the elegance and the danger. Elegance because this is how skill forms. Danger because this is how you become a version of yourself you did not choose. Do not romanticize difficulty. The point is not suffering, the point is precision. Stoics taught us to treat the day like a craftsman treats his workbench. The craftsman does not wait for inspiration, he sharpens the tools. The craftsman sets the clock, he measures, he repeats. The result is mastery. You can deploy the same logic to the inner workshop. I want you to see the difference between eruption and architecture. Eruption is when a thought appears and you react in desperation. Architecture is when you have prepared a response in advance and the thought finds nothing to latch onto. Architecture defeats eruption every time. Picture a night shift at the jail. You are an officer, the lights are low, a disturbance breaks, your heart is quick. Your first thought is a script you learned long ago from stress. You breathe shallow, you tighten, you lose perspective. The disturbance escalates because your tone escalated. That is a mental pattern calling the physical one into being. The scene repeats across nights until the pattern is the default. Now picture the same officer who has redesigned 3 things. First, a pre-shift ritual that takes 2 minutes. Eyes closed. 3 deep breaths. A phrase quietly said aloud that is not a prayer and not theatrics. It is a reset command. Second, a small movement, 2 shoulders rolled back, chin level, hands unclenched. Third, a micro decision rule. If agitation enters, pause for 3 counts and speak in the same measured tone no matter what. The disturbance still arrives, but the reaction is different. The pattern no longer feeds itself. The shift is quiet, the work becomes steadier. The point is not that the world changed. The point is that the inner pattern changed. The outer follows. If you want to break a pattern, you must do 3 things at once. Interrupt, replace, reinforce. Interrupt means creating a gap. Most people do not create a gap. They react to the reaction. Replace means you must prepare a better program and deploy it when the old pattern fires. Do not try to improvise a better response. That is hope. Reinforce means reward. The new behavior even in small ways. A reward does not require sugar or praise. It is an internal tally, a nod, a brief inhale, a private tally mark. Every reward makes the new loop easier to run next time. You can design rewards. Imagine a system where every time you choose a calm tone, you give yourself a small sign of completion. A mental check. A tap of your thumb. A note in a tiny log. The brain recognizes this as feedback. Feedback becomes training. We need also to discuss nuance. Not every repetitive thought is enemy. Not every habit is prison. Some patterns you must keep. The question is not whether patterns exist. The question is which ones you choose to let govern you. Virtue is nothing other than choosing certain patterns deliberately and refusing everything else. Let us take the practical tools you can use in the next 10 minutes and every day after. Tool 1. The 2 count. Whenever an automatic thought surfaces that gives you an emotion strong enough to act on, count 2 heartbeats before you speak or move. The count is short enough to stop an immediate eruption, but long enough to force the frontal lobe to check itself. That is enough time to choose the program you prefer. 2 beats, that is all. Tool 2. The rehearsal loop. If you want a new pattern, rehearse it. Speak it once in the mirror. Do the physical components. Do them like a craftsman repeating the stroke of a plane on wood. Rehearse until the movement tastes ordinary. Ordinary is the enemy of drama and the ally of habit. When life demands it, ordinary is what steadies you. Tool 3. Environment engineering. Patterns adore context. Change the room and you change the loop. That is why of all the tools, this one is the most practical. Remove triggers you can control. Make cues for the new pattern visible and unavoidable. Put the 2-minute reset on a sticky note where you will see it at the start of the shift. Put a small physical token in your pocket to remind you of the rehearsal loop. If you design your environment, you make the easier choice, the default choice. Tool 4. The measure that is not narcissism. Keep a simple ledger. Not to impress anyone. Not for social media. A ledger for truth. 3 lines. Date. The pattern you targeted. 1 brief note on outcome. At the end of each week, read your ledger. Do not judge. Count. Pattern is a numbers game. Change the numbers and you change the reality. Now the mechanics behind why this works. The brain is plastic in the sense that repetition strengthens connections. That is how skill forms. Strengthen the connection for composed response, and you will feel composed. Strengthen the connection for panic, and you will feel panic. Your internal economy values efficiency. It will invest in whatever yields returns. You must be the investor who chooses where the capital goes. There is also a moral clarity here. Patterns carry integrity. If you allow your impulses to rule you, you will become small in ways you cannot notice day to day. If you choose the pattern of discipline, you become the kind of person who can hold responsibility without collapsing into spectacle. Let me cut a common lie. People say they do not have time to shape new patterns. That is a lie of convenience. Patterns are made in minutes. They are reinforced in small increments. 2 minutes a day for a reset. 5 minutes for rehearsal. A ledger entry that takes 60 seconds. Loud transformations are rare. Quiet improvements compound. Think compound interest. A small reduction in reactivity every month accumulates. Years from now, the difference between a controlled life and a reactive life is enormous. You will meet resistance. The old patterns are lazy and cunning. They will masquerade as authenticity. They will say it is honest to blow up. They will call discipline cold. Throw those names away. Authenticity that is habitually destructive is not authenticity. It is repetition. Discipline is the cultivation of a better repetition. If you want to accelerate change, there are 2 accelerants you can use without ceremony. Tell one person what you are changing and what metric you will track. Second, pair the new pattern with something you already do. Habit stacking is not a trick. It is leverage. Attach your 2-minute reset to something unavoidable, like putting on your uniform or turning on the radio. A new pattern needs an anchor. Now some clean rules for practice. Rule 1. Do not attempt radical overhaul at once. Radical overhaul collapses. Pick one pattern. Make it non-negotiable for 30 days. Rule 2. Keep the reward immediate. The brain cares about timing. Reward the new behavior in the moment. Rule 3. Track quietly but relentlessly. Numbers remove romance. Rule 4. If you fail, analyze without theater. Find the cue you missed and redesign it. The world does not require catharsis, it requires iteration. There will be moments when you doubt the point of all of this. When you do, remember this. Every skill you respect began as a repetitive practice that someone endured. Language, music, marksmanship, calm in a violent room, the ability to read a face, the capacity to hold a team through chaos. Those were not gifts. They were patterns formed and chosen. You can practice the same. That is the dignity of human beings. We make our own competence. Methods are boring until they work. Now for the closing practical sequence that you can use tonight. It takes 5 minutes. Do it before you sleep. Stand up, check posture, put your feet solid. Close your eyes. Breathe in for 4 counts. Breathe out for 6 counts. Say to yourself, clearly and without theatrics, I will choose the response I want. Open your eyes. Find one cue that bothers you during the day. Name it in 3 words. Create the replacement behavior you will do when that cue appears. Rehearse it once out loud. Place a small token in your pocket to remind you of the rehearsal. Open a note on your phone called Ledger. Create a line with today, the cue, and the replacement. That is it. Do this again tomorrow. Repeat until it is ordinary. Ordinary is not small. Ordinary is the soil of greatness. You do not need permission to start. No one is coming to rescue you from the patterns you have lived by. The technology of change is in your hands. It is simple. It is patient. It is not glamorous. It is effective. Remember the essential truth. Your mind is not a passenger. It is an instrument that learns from what you do to it. If you treat it with intention, it will return craft. If you leave it to default scripts, you will carry their weight. Choose the patterns you want to be. Let them outcompete the rest. Make the small repetitions sacred because they are decisive. Go. Start with one thing, 2 heartbeats, 1 rehearsal, 1 ledger entry. Over time, the quiet accumulates into an unarguable life. That is the craft. That is the point. Humanfluence. Out.